Hi guys, and welcome back to a live event in New York City. We just watched Domi's an incredible performance on the MODX, and the MODX, again, it's great for a pianist that wants a real weighted keyboard, amazing action keys right there. Now, let's talk a little bit about the MODX6, which is the model that we aim for the synthesist. And who better to show this than a synth legend, an amazing electronic artist, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Richard Devine. Wow. I told you he's a legend. So, Richard, that was incredible. I don't know what to say. It's awesome. Right. Thanks so much for being with us today.
Sure.
Can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Because you're doing quite a few different things, quite a few cool things, I'd say. So can you tell us a little bit of what you do and how do you actually work out all these amazing instruments and modules? And
my spaghetti mess up here. My name is Richard Devine. I'm an electronic artist based from Atlanta, Georgia, and I'm also a sound designer by day. Working on a lot of crazy projects all the time, but split between two roles. And but I've always been a musician since age 16. I've been writing music and putting out my own records, and I'm a music nerd at heart. So
appreciate that.
What I was doing up here today is this is basically my Eurorack rig that I travel with doing live shows. I've been doing a lot of festivals with this. And for the show today, I have a slightly different setup. I was using the Poly-End Eurorack module, which is called the Poly Interface module, which is a polyphonic MIDI to CV converter, which allows me to connect into this sequencer here, Poly-End sequence, which allows me to sequence the MODX. So what's really cool about that is having this interface is I'm allowed to use this as a voice within my system and be able to control it with play chords, any root note, any quantized scale, any timing, multiplications, divisions.
It was very interesting watching the super knob glow in tempo with everything else that was going in here. That was so basically you sync the MODX to your entire setup right here.
To my entire setup, yeah. Wow. Now with some of the newer modules and technology, I'm able to use pretty much anything and interface it with my Eurorack system and use the voice. Really, what I wanted to have was the FMX capability and the power.
Right.
And to be able to use those voicing within my Eurorack setup.
So you're using more the the FMX engine more than anything else on the MODX? On
the MODX, so that's primarily my, I'm not really a big AWM, not really a big sample user with it. For me, my primary focus with it is, like I said, the FMX engine, which when you look at the specs of this synth, as far as just looking at it from a digital FM synthesizer, it's probably the best FM synthesizer there is out on the market, and I have all of them. And another thing is I'm familiar with Yamaha's heritage. I still have and own my TX802s, TX81Zs. I have two of them. The DX100, DX200.
Oh, wow.
The DX100 was the synth I would take on vacations with my parents to the beach. I would put headphones on and I would sit in the back of the car and program and be like, 4-operator FM, what does this do? And I grew up using a lot of these synthesizers, so when they launched the Montage and the MODX, I was really excited to jump into this technology and see where FM synthesis is at now in 2018.
I can see that because your music is so complex and I would say so unpredictable. You never know what's going to come next. That's what I really, really enjoy about your music. It's like, I'm like, okay, what's he going to do next? And every, if you can call it bars, I mean, you introduce something else. So I think that the FM part of the MODX gives you this kind of layer of unpredictability. And I know that you've done quite a few presets for the MODX, so I can already identify quite a few sounds because basically your presets are evolving, constantly evolving. The sound always changes and morphs. Mm-hmm. So you use the super knob a lot for this so that you can basically morph between the different FM parameters and all these things?
Absolutely. The super knob is actually one of my favorite features of the MODX and the Montage as well. When I started doing the original factory presets with that keyboard, I realized you could do all kinds of really interesting things with the super knob. It's not just something that you just turn by your hand and change a cutoff filter or a delay timer or a wet and dry signal. I would actually if you'll notice in a lot of my patches when you load them up, you'll see that there's already an LFO source or an envelope or an envelope follower or something that's already automating this for you, so you don't even have to automate it. It'll just play, and all these things start to happen as soon as you hit a key. So it's very much how I approach it, almost like in a modular mindset. I looked into the modulations page. That's like the first place I'd look at, in a sense, like, all right, what can I assign to what to do this, and cause these sort of like cause and effect chain reactions to happen. And that's one of the most powerful things about it is, you could set up a patch where you have all your automation be at 0, but then as you turn the super
every
knob,
increment is like a different sound.
It's crazy, and then being able to really detail how the automation paths, how they're happening. You can actually choose the shape, amplitude of the movement, the motion sequences can be really. You can look at it and be like, oh, I want it to start out very delicately, then things get more erratic and more detailed towards the end. So you could really I've never seen a synth where you could if you wanted to really nerd out. Get into it. You really can do that, and get into some really interesting spaces. Just messing around with the modulation settings and the super knob. It's I got into lots of uncharted territory where I was like, oh,
that's the beauty of FM synthesis. Is like it's completely unpredictable. So you can create one sound one day, and then next day you go completely different place. And I like the thing that you said, Ben, when we were chatting before, that just give me sine waves and I can create any sound that you want.
Just give me sine waves and I'm good to go.
That's incredible.
That's
really
a quote. Yeah, it's so really.
So you find that you integrate it with this setup. The MODX integrates seamlessly. You gave us like a great show right now. So.
Yeah, this was like a dream come true. Like I said, now with the latest generation of Eurorack modules, you have the ability now to integrate anything into the setup, which allows me to take I don't have an oscillator currently, a Eurorack oscillator, digital oscillator, or analog based oscillator that's capable of doing what this is doing. So, by using some of these products, I'm able to take the full power of this and have it integrated into this setup. And another thing that's great about the MODX is like the price range you guys had set this at. I don't know if that's been announced yet, but from what I heard, I have some modules that cost 10 times what this thing costs, and this thing does 1,000 times more function. It's my feature set is beyond what some of my modules can do here. So it's fun because I have the ability to use it as a keyboard, use it for sound design applications. And
it's very light, I guess, for your kind of setup.
For sure. Around my room, or even taking this for a show, this is a lot lighter than the Montage, which was a much heavier keyboard. But this is a perfect size for me. I like smaller setups, more compact. Yeah, so it's really awesome.
Let me ask you something. I think you use the MODX and the Montage in some very interesting ways. Except for your own music, you also do some really cool sound design projects.
Yes, I was just notified this morning I was allowed to talk about this. It was under a non-disclosure agreement, but they lifted it because they had made a press announcement about it. I just finished doing sound design for Jaguar Car Company, working on the new I-Pace car. It's an all-electric vehicle. Actually, their first all-electric vehicle. You might have seen commercials on TV of it. I was responsible, actually, for doing all of the sound design. Everything that the car does that you hear a sound that it makes, I made, including the engine sounds. And typically when I do user interaction sounds, like UI sounds, where, like it's a button tone or an alert system notification, I'll either go to additive subtractive synthesis or physical modeling, but 90% of the time I use FM synthesis, just because FM synthesis you can create clear, glassy tones so well that cut through the air really well. Yeah. So, in really busy, noisy environments, you're able to hear the tones clearly. And so when I was working on the car, I actually used the Montage to create most of the notification, pedestrian alert notification sounds. And actually, it was funny, I made the left and right blinker sounds. They were done with FM synthesis. And,
so cool.
And because when you think about it, FM synthesis, like I said, it just by the nature of cross-modulating, sine waves into each other. You get these very kind of cut through sounds that cut through a mix. So it's very useful for, I don't look at this just as an instrument I play in the studio. I also use it for other applications, for sound design projects.
That's pretty awesome.
So that was
Awesome
really great because, obviously I'm able to do multi-layered FM.
Yeah.
It's
It's not just one
It's
FM.
not just one
you
voice.
can have like several instances, and
yeah, with this it's 64 voices, 8 operator. I mean, 80 algorithms or something. When you think about that compared to all the other FM synths that I have now, they're all based at 4 op. They're like 4 op FM synths. They're much more limited, so you can get into way more detailed sonic territory with this synth. Me being, like I said, I'm already like a FM fanboy. I would buy anything FM. Doesn't matter how cheap or expensive it is. So when this came out, when the Montage came out and the MODX, I was just really excited, to get my hands on it and see what I could come up with.
Awesome.
So it's very cool.
So let us know what you have as plans. You have a new album coming out, right?
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. November 2nd, I have a new album coming out on Planet Mu Records, Time Sig, and it's called Sort Lave, and it's a really crazy record. It's pretty out there, and I'm pretty excited to get it out to the world.
Can't wait.
And hopefully people will enjoy it, and it's a very interesting sonic journey through different, I don't even know how to describe it, but yeah, it's out there.
That's awesome. Looking forward to hear it. And thanks so much for being here with us
Thank
today.
you for having me.
We really enjoyed that, and it's an honor to have you here.
Definitely.
Thanks a lot.
for having me.
Thank you guys for watching. Ladies and gentlemen, Richard Devine. And please stay tuned because we have another live streaming coming up right after this. Bye-bye.